My name is Abhay Kumar, and I'm going to talk about today on the question of Muslim women and how the Hindu right forces have played their politics on the issue of gender. If I put it in another way, how the question of gender has been communalized. The context of today's discussion is several reports which have appeared in newspapers, web portals. These reports are about a claim made by Minority Minister, Union Minority Minister Sri Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi. He claimed that after the passing of law against triple talaq, the cases of divorce among Muslim women have drastically come down. He has even given the figure that around 80% cases of triple talaq, triple divorce have come down. When I read this story in the morning, I thought that this is a very relevant topic to discuss Hindutva politics, the question of women. So, what I am going to do in this discussion, in this live Facebook Live, first I will show you uh, what Sri Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi has said. I would show you his arguments and also I will show you the newspaper cuttings and then I would try to give my own view. So be ready. I'm going to have a small PowerPoint presentation. I think you are able to see the screen, some facts and figures, his statement, his tweets. You could see it here. So let me begin with this issue. Triple talaq. In English, it is called triple talaq. In Hindi or in Urdu, we call it teen talaq. So what has happened that today Shri Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi has made this announcement. He has posted a tweet from his official Twitter, and I could read it out for you. It is written in Hindi that कानून बनाने के बाद 3 तलाक की घटनाओं में 82% की कमी आई नकवी. So the minority minister has said that the cases of triple talaq have come down by 82%. So you could see some more tweets. कानून बनाने के बाद 3 तलाक की घटनाओं में 82% की कमी आई नकवी। ये जुलाई 23rd 2020 द इकोनॉमिक टाइम्स। Aaj Tak has also carried this story, and he shared this story on his Twitter. नकवी का दावा, ट्रिपल तलाक कानून से 1 साल में घटे 83% case. Naqvi has claimed that the cases of triple talaq in 1 year have come down by 83%. So, interestingly, Now Bihar Times from Aurangabad, this is not very well-known newspaper. I mean to say that these are not very leading, largest circulating newspaper, but his editorial has appeared in Navbharat Times today, and you could see it. The headline of this article written by Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi is that 3 talaq bada reform behtareen result. He says that triple talaq was a big reform, and triple talaq has yielded success. It has yielded very good result. So I am saying the same thing. Times of India has also carried his story that about 82% decline in triple talaq case since law enacted by the parliament. This is the image of honorable minister. Again his tweet, कानून बनाने के बाद 3 तलाक की घटनाओं में 82% की कमी आई। Urdu newspapers, interestingly, they have also carried this story, and he has also attacked Congress party and other secular parties, and he has basically argued that Congress parties or secular parties, they have not defended the rights of the Muslim women, and I could read it out. कांग्रेस के लम्हों की खता ने मुस्लिम खवातीन को दी लंबी सजा। मुख्तार अब्बास नकवी ने 3 तलाक पर पाबंदी को बताया बड़ा इस्लाही कदम। 82% कमी का दावा। Same thing, he said that the mistake, the historic blunder was done by Congress party, and it resulted in great deal of suffering for Muslim women, but BJP is very different party. So I have just shown you some of tweets and news clippings. Let me give you his argument so that I could say why I have differed with him and why his argument is very, very problematic. So Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi is the Union Minister of Minority Affairs. This story, the same story, is prominently covered by Times of India, and he again, let me reiterate, he said that about 82% decline, there has been around 82% decline in triple talaq cases since law was enacted by the Modi government. So the same thing, he has said that social evil was in place for a long time, and the triple talaq, the law against triple talaq was made by the Modi government, the BJP government, and they have put an end to social evils. And he said that August 1st, when the law against triple talaq came into being, it was enacted. He said that that day, August 1st, should be celebrated and should be observed as Muslim Women's Rights Day. He also stressed, underscored that the Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Marriage Act 2019 has taken its course whenever such a matter has been reported. Basically, the same law he is referring to, the law against triple talaq. So it was passed last in 2019, the Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Marriage Act 2019. I will tell you what is this triple talaq. Triple talaq basically is not proper way of giving divorce to Muslim women by their husbands. Even religious scholars have denounced this practice. Triple, you understand, triple means three, and talaq means divorce. So the practice goes like this: that in one sitting, husband says talaq, 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 that is divorce, 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 and that pronouncement of divorce in one sitting is not proper. It is not Islamic, but a large group of Indian Muslims who are Hanafi Muslims, the Sunni Hanafi Muslims, they believed, and the religious scholars belonging to that group, they claim that even though triple talaq is bad, and people should avoid giving triple talaq, that is pronouncement of talaq, talaq, talaq at one instance, but if it has been pronounced, it cannot be taken back. So one fact we have to keep in mind, that a large number of other Sunni Muslims like Ahle Hadith and Shia Muslims, they do not practice triple talaq. So one confusion is created by media because they want to create binary between Muslims and non-Muslims. They argue that every Muslim believes in triple talaq. It is not the case. Yes, Hanafi Sunni Muslims, who constitute a large proportion of Indian Muslim, they do believe it, they do uphold it, but other sections, maybe Shias and Ahle Hadith, they do not accept it. So the case in Muslim society, the situation in Muslim society is not very homogeneous. It is not the same. So in 2019, August 1, this law was passed, and you could see it that the Honorable Minister has not only made a wild claim that 82% cases have gone down, he has also used this occasion to criticize opposition party, the Congress, the Communist Party, Samajwadi Party, Bahujan Samaj Party, Trinamool Congress. See, uh, if Naqvi or BJP um, is criticizing Congress Party, it could be understood. Even the criticism against Communist Party could be understood because they have been in parliament for a long time. But Trinamool Congress, Bahujan Samaj Party, these are very recent formations. So why, I don't understand why Naqvi has included their name also. Is it to do with upcoming Bengal elections that the party is trying to project Trinamool Congress as uh, as a party that is appeasing Muslims community, and it is not serving the interest of the Hindus? I think it is left to you. But I always see that politics do play a key role in policy formulations. So Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi has said that the opposition parties are against women. They are, and he is ironically saying, "Oh, the so-called secular party, they have not stood with with the rights of the Muslim women," and opposed to them, he is saying that his formations, the Hindutva, the Hindu nationalists, the BJP, the RSS, they believe in gender equality. They, by enacting that law, they have strengthened constitutional and fundamental rights, democratic rights, and gender rights for the Muslims. Wild claim. Now, one important issue that you should also keep in mind, that Shahbano case, he also referred Shahbano case, and he said that Congress party did not stand with Shahbano in 1985. What is Shahbano case? What has happened that Shahbano was an old lady, Muslim old lady. She was divorced by her husband at the age of 62, and then she went to the court, and then the court said that she is entitled to get maintenance, and Muslim religious scholars believe that once a woman is divorced and the period of iddah, that is 3 months, if that is gone, then the responsibility is not with the husband to look after or to give money to Muslim women. So, but Article Section 125 of the Criminal Procedural Code, it talks about giving entitlement to divorced women. And at that time, the Chief Justice Y. Chandrachud has said that Section 125 of the Code of Criminal Procedure Code is applicable to Muslim as well, and Muslim could not be given exemption. Uh, and then he made that very controversial pronouncement, that ruling, and it was strongly opposed by All India Muslim Personal Law Board, a group of Muslim intellectuals, religious scholars, members from the civil society. That group was formed. All India Muslim Personal Law Board was formed in 1972-73 to look after, protect the identity, the religious identity of Muslims, and also its main purpose was to protect Muslim personal laws from possible interference from the government. So at that time, the then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi made a law, and he undid the ruling of the Supreme Court, and it created a lot of controversy. And Rajiv Gandhi was accused that he tried to appease Muslim fundamentalist organization and also Muslim religious leader. And BJP at that time was very active, and and the ideologues and the intellectuals and journalists associated with the BJP, they vehemently criticized the Congress party. And after that, BJP realized that the demand for uniform civil code and doing away with the personal law is very fruitful, because it is an agenda that could create some kind of division, antagonism between the Hindus and the Muslims. And the BJP since then started saying that the Muslim groups are, or Muslim community is against women. The Muslim group is controlled by clergy or fanatic ulama. So and what the BJP has done, the BJP has communalized the very issue of gender, and it has always projected Hindu society to be very just and based on egalitarian idea. It will never talk about how the caste system is against women, is against the marginalized and the lower caste people. But the party has never referred to or never worked for reforming caste and bringing more egalitarian ideas within the Hindu society. What the party has done, it has created a binary that Hindus are liberal, Hindus are progressive, Hindus are forward-looking, and the Muslim society is backward, fundamentalist. So this binary was created, and Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi, in his criticism and his article, what he has done, he has basically use the same old methodologies, the same old narrative to create a division that look, the secular parties are for Muslim men, and and the BJP is for Muslim women. So this is the small presentation I have made, what has happened today, and how things are being monopolized, and how half truth is being presented before us. So now, if you have any question, you can just ask me, or if you have any point, you could ask me. I think your intervention is also very important, because if I have deviated from the main topic, please send a message, and please correct me. So, Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi has played the old game, the old politics, that the binary, that the majority community is very liberal, very progressive, and the minority community is very regressive, backward looking. The conditions of women is very worse. Now the question is, we do accept that the condition of Muslim women are not satisfactory. There are a possibility that reform should be made, but but if we say that only Muslim women have problem and Hindu women do not have, or women from non-Muslim communities have no problem, then what we are doing, we are communalizing the issue of gender. So the BJP is doing very simple politics. BJP doesn't talk about the issue of women. BJP doesn't address the question of women on gender plan. It tries, and it has always done it, to create some kind of, I could say, some kind of binary, that everything is good in Hindu society, everything is good in the Hindu society, and everything bad in the Muslim society. And Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi had done exactly the same thing today by using this occasion and making wild claim. So I'm going to give you the reference of, or I'm going to cite the work of a well-known scholar, Flavia Enges. She has worked on gender rights, she has worked on laws, and she has very important thing to say. Basically, the contribution of Flavia Enges is uh, that she has brought to the forefront the issue that the gender issue must be addressed, must be debated, must be talked about on gender issue. It should never be communalized. And I want to cite, I want to again show you what she has said. What she has said. Flavia. Yes. So you could see, noted a scholar of law, Flavia Enges, is critical of the current discourse for its anti-Muslim slant. She is very critical of the fact that the issue of gender has been communalized, and she has said that it is a wrong perception. She has argued, and here I think I would use her argument to again go back to Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi. She has basically argued that it is a wrong perception that Muslim personal law are only against women, but Hindu personal laws are egalitarian. She is saying that this is a misplaced understanding. So, in other words, he is saying that it is wrong to argue that Muslim personal law falls short on the parameter of gender justice, while Hindu laws are egalitarian, uniform, and gender justice. And Flavia Angus brought the Hindu Code Bill, that is a group of laws enacted by Nehru in 1956-57 for empowerment of Hindu women. And she said that the bill do have some problem. The bill do have some problem, and the Hindu Code Bill, did not treat Hindu women equally. Dear friends, the story of Hindu Code Bill is very interesting. I have done my PhD on All India Muslim Personal Law Board, and what is very uh, unique and very interesting, that the moment I say to my friends, whether he or she has studied that subject or not, the moment I say that I'm a scholar or I'm working on Muslim personal law board, they would just come and they would say, okay, what do you have to say about triple talaq? Do you support it? Are you against it? Why are you not speaking against the questions of uh, torture and injustice done to Muslims women? Why are you doing like this? So I just listen to that person and I say, no, but things are like this. Then my friend would say, no, you are complicating the things. The things are very simple. Muslim women are suffering and we must stand with them. And then I would argue, yes, Muslim women have problem, but also Hindu women are also suffering. Why can't we talk about issue of women? Why we are looking at women as Hindus and Muslims? Then they would say, what? Hindu women have a problem? Have you gone mad about it? Then then I have said that, have you heard about Hindu Code Bill? Have you heard about Baba Sahib Bhimrao Ambedkar? He was the law minister in Nehru's government, and he wanted to reform Hindu laws, because when independence took place, our laws were against the rights of the women. For example, polygamy, that is, marrying more than one wife was very common thing in Hindu society. I have seen in my village in Bihar that many of my chacha and my dada, they had more than one wife because they were all married before independence. So the Nehru was aware of the fact, polygamy was a fact. And then divorce was not there in the Hindu society. You know, that divorce is a contribution of Islam, because Islam considers that marriage is just a civil contract. It is not a janmo janmo ka rishta. It is the marriage is not uh, the marriage is not something that you have to continue it even if you are suffering in that relationship. Islam said, okay, be together, do not do not go for divorce, try to resolve the differences. But if all means have failed, you have right to divorce. So Ambedkar also wanted to bring divorce, and he was a radical feminist. So he wanted to bring in more and more laws for our sister and our mothers. But the Hindu right, the same Hindu right, who are today the champion of gender justice, the Hindu right who is talking about egalitarianism, constitutional rights, democracy, they were there at that time, at Nehru time, and they started making hues and cries. What what Ambedkar is doing? How could he reform Hindu society? Even Rajendra Babu, our first president, and big Congress leader, and also in my area in Bihar, we give always the reference of Rajendra Babu. Rajendra Babu was very brilliant student, and I don't know. In my school, it is always said that the examiner said once to Rajendra Babu, or maybe that examiner wrote on the answer script of Rajendra Babu that uh, examinee is better than examiner, something like that. So, but he was very conservative, Rajendra Babu. He might be brilliant as far as knowledge is concerned, but he was very conservative. He wrote a letter to Nehru and he said, "Dear Nehru, you have not got the mandate to intervene in Hindu code bill." Interestingly, the historical record says, and it is all documented, and that is benefit of history, a large number of Hindutva organizations, Hindu Mahasabha and others, the Johnson, they all started rallying. They said, no, we will never allow reforms in Hindu code bill. And then there is also another confusion. People generally say, okay, you support Hindu code, Hindu code bill, but what about Muslim personal laws? They have not been reformed. Why Nehru didn't reform that? I want to tell you, reform is a continuous process. Reform is not done today and then you go and sleep. Reform will continue. And those who argue and those who spread this misconception that Muslim laws, personal laws have not been reformed, they forget the fact that in 1937 there is Sharia Act. That Sharia Act was an attempt to reform Muslim personal laws. And interestingly, the Hindutva people would say that all Muslims are the same. The ulama of Deoband and Muslim League, led by Jinnah, they had differences on several issues. Jinnah was more liberal and ulama were more traditional. So there was a clash. So the point which I am trying to make it here, that it is wrong to assume that Muslim laws or Muslim personal laws have never been reformed. We should say that much before Hindu laws were reformed, Muslim personal laws had already been reformed. But I am not saying that there is no scope for further reform. Yes, reform should always happen because our understanding about equality and egalitarianism is continuing. At once upon a time, people thought that caste-based society is good, but today nobody accepts. Even the relationship between the husband and wife is not based on Malik, Swamiji, oh Lord. It is based on friendship. It is based on equal relationship. So reform will continue. But don't say that reform has never happened to Muslim personal law board. Those who say it, Google it. Sharia Act 1937. Now, coming back to Rajendra Babu. Rajendra Babu was very critical of Nehru. And at that time, what has happened? That a large number of dharnas, protests were organized by Hindu Mahasabhas and other right-wing organizations. No, Nehru, you cannot do it. Nehru was not as radical as Ambedkar. Nehru was a politician and he realized that things are getting very tough. So he was not willing to give free hand to Dr. Ambedkar. And Ambedkar became very frustrated. His frustration was growing day by day. And he said that I want to reform Hindu society, but why I am not being allowed? 1952 elections took place. And you know, against Nehru, a sadhu was made candidate from Allahabad. And the sadhu has campaigned against reforms of the Hindu code bill. I cannot go into detail because then I will be lost. So Nehru was made to get frustrated. He didn't have much support in Congress party because the Congress party is also very, very unique. The top leadership will be secular and the base would be right wing. So the Nehru finally caved in and Ambedkar became very frustrated. He resigned and he said that this was my last attempt to reform Hindu society. So My question to Naqvi Sahab is that will he apologize for the fact that the organization, the social groups, the movement to which he has been associated with betrayed Ambedkar, betrayed progressive ideas? The Hindu or Hindutva organization have stood against the daughters and the mothers of India? Would he accept that? Now, let me come back to 1970s. In 1970s, organizer carried interview of RSS chief MS Golwalkar.